morning, gentlemen. Before we start the mission today, I've got some good news. Lieutenant Bill Moore and his crew on the bomber Bonnigal landed safely in Switzerland. We thought she was lost over Leipzig last week on that raid. They're safe and sound, and you guys that took part of his kit, you better put it back. It'll be back in the barracks before you know it. Okay, could I have the mission map, please? Today, the mission is Operation Thunderclap, and the target, Berlin. Yeah, I know, it's a long way, but we've been there 10 times before, and so we're ready. We know the city, and we're ready to go. Now, the Luftwaffe will put up a lot of 109s, a lot of 190s, and maybe a few 262s. But they got pilots are pretty less trained today, and they have not a lot of fuel, so we're not going to be too concerned. However, the flak will be heavy and accurate. Thank God they haven't stumbled on the proximity fuse. They're still using time delays and barometric fuses, and they're very good at that. God knows what they would do to us if they had found out about the proximity fuse. Now, at 0600, all crew will board their aircraft after a good pre-flight inspection with the ground chief. Now, many of those ground crews have been working all night to make sure your aircraft is safe and sound and ready to go. And I want you to make sure that you do a complete check. You're going to be carrying today 10 500-pound high-explosive bombs and a full load of fuel, 2,870 gallons. She's going to be real heavy. So I want you to make sure that you confer with the chief and that make sure that he's loaded that aircraft correctly so the center of gravity is where you think it should be. Density altitude, by the way, was going to help us out today. Now, we're going to take off at 0700 in our usual every 30-second formation. And we're going to turn left into the pattern and fly the pattern at 3,000 feet until we assemble. Then, once the group is assembled, we're going to take a course of 045 true and climb. I want you to set your airspeed so that we do 150 miles per hour during the entire mission. When we cross Felixstowe here on the coast, we should be at about 8,000 and we should break out of that cloud layer. Once we cross into the channel, all 30 bomb groups will assemble the stream. The stream is going to be 125 miles long. Once the stream is assembled, we will turn to course 045 and approach the coast of Europe in this general direction. Why don't we go directly across? Simple. We want to keep the Luftwaffe guessing as to what our final target's going to be. At about 20,000 feet, we'll cross out the coast just north of Amsterdam. And prior to our arrival on the coastline will be a group of B-26s. And they're going to be flying at 17,000. They're going to be dropping chaff. And we hope that that chaff is going to confuse that radar and not note our altitude. But in any event, we're still climbing, and by the time we get to 25,000 feet, we should be at about this area. This gives you some idea of the length of the bomb stream. Now, as we approach this on this course of 090 true, we're going to get to the IP, the initial point of the bomb run. You guys, listen up. The IP is the confluence of the Elbe and the Havel rivers, and they form somewhat of a T on the tipped over. Just to the south of this junction, you'll see the Riem Reservoir and a railroad track and an autobahn paralleling it, and they will lead us right into Berlin. This distance here is 30 miles. Now, the code signal for today, could I have slide 1, please? We're all going to be working on 129.4 megahertz. The commander of the task group is Jehovah. 379's call sign is Cowboy Abel. If we should have to abort the mission for any reason, we'll announce a 129.4 whippoorwill. We chose a word difficult for a German to speak, and 2 red flares will indicate that we're scrubbing Berlin. Our secondary target that day then will be Okay, back here at Hanover. You know Hanover, we've bombed out F. Focke-Wulf 190 plant several times before, and that will be your secondary target. In any case, should Hanover be scrubbed because of weather, you are not to bring back any ordnance. You are to take out a target of opportunity and drop all bombs. Now, once we get to the IP and we begin the bombing run, we will hear on 129.4, we will hear the command, Cowboy Able Execute, and 2 green flares will appear and we will begin the bomb stream. Once, could I have slide 2, please? This is our target for today, the IG Farben Chemical Complex. Now, this looks like it's in pretty bad shape, but believe me, as soon as the sun goes down, you'll see a lot of activity. They're still producing fuel for the Messerschmitt 262 out of this plant. This photograph was taken yesterday afternoon, 1600, by a Mosquito British reconnaissance aircraft. Now, this afternoon, we will be gone. But when that Mosquito goes over at 1600, I want the target to look like that. You get the picture?
Yes, sir.
Back to the target. Back to the previous slide. Okay, good. Now, once we drop our bombs, we will turn left to 300 and toward the rally point. The rally point is again the Havel River and the city of Bremen and the Autobahn. And from the air, they form a pretty definite X. And so you should have no trouble. Now, on the return, should you be damaged, His Majesty's Royal Navy has a full complement of search and rescue ships in the North Sea area ready to pick you up. Now some word about the weather that you are going to encounter. We have over Europe a large high, and we have approaching the Great Britain a low. As a result, we're going to have an outbound high-speed tailwind, and we should be over the target in less than 3.5 hours. Now, unfortunately, on the way back, you're going to have to face that headwind then. Okay? Let's see. I think I've covered the. Oh, I want DeSanto. Hey, Lieutenant DeSanto, wake up. He's the lead navigator. Make sure that you figure out where we are, because we should have a clear shot over Berlin today. Now, I think I've covered pretty much everything except the what's on the ground. Can we lift the slide up at all? Okay. Currently, the battle line in the west is this line. We drew this last night based on the latest action report. So if you're damaged, you can try and land in this area that has been taken by the American forces or British forces. Here we have the British under Montgomery, the 21st Allied Army up here. We have Bradley and the 1st Army here with some French units, and not shown on the map further south at Metz and Colmar will be General Patton and the 3rd Army. Back here we have pockets of Germans that have been bypassed. That's one place you can set down. You might consider going east to the Soviets. If you do, you have to realize that anything flying from the west to the east for the last 4 years has not been friendly. And so the Russians aren't very good at aircraft recognition, so it's a kind of a dicey thing. And sometimes when you land behind Russian lines, you find that they are friendly, and other units have found them particularly unfriendly. So the decision is up to you. If possible, you might fly to Sweden, if damaged, or as Bill Moore did over the Leipzig raid down here to Switzerland. In both cases, you'll be interned for a period of time. I think I've covered just about everything that I should have covered, except the Russians. The Russians, yes, the Russians here are tied up on the Oder River, and they're resting and refitting after taking Poland and the Ukraine. Now remind you, there's 2 million Russian soldiers here facing much smaller German units, and they're only 50 miles from Berlin. But at this point, they're resting. This is the first Belarusian army by Marshal Zhukov. Down here, we have the first Ukrainian army under Marshal Konek. Now, I think I have covered pretty much everything you need to know, except I want you to know that today we have the opportunity, if you so desire, to go to services today. We have Padre Knowlton. For you guys, we have Father Sullivan and we have Rabbi Plotkin in their particular areas providing services. So they'll follow this briefing shortly. And lastly, I should let you know that I want you to keep everything out of your pockets. I don't want the letter from Susie or Mary in your pocket, because the Germans are masters at interrogation, and they're going to turn that letter, and if you're being interrogated, they're going to turn that letter information against you. So take everything out of your pockets and make sure that you don't give them that opportunity. We should synchronize our watches, so get them out. And at that synchronization, when they say mark, the time will be 0445 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. The time is 0445. Before I let you go, I need to tell you a story that we've learned from German prisoners. They are well aware that you're flying out for the 8th Air Force, but they also are well aware that you have taken the habit of emptying those chemical toilets while you're aloft over Germany. So you're not only known as the 8th Air Force, but you're known as Scheisserfliegers. Fliegers in German is flyer. You can figure out what Scheisser is. Good luck, men.